I'm carrying on a tradition here that's been in our family for something like 3 generations or more before me. My father was a sheep man. This part of Wicklow is very suited to sheep farming. It has a hilly nature, so it was always the main enterprise. And there's always been sheep since we were going to school. I can remember tending to sheep. I've been doing it during my time, and I'm in the process now of passing on to the 3rd and the 4th generation, our grandchildren. That's basically, we have a very small flock. It wouldn't be a viable flock if you were to try and make a living out of it, but it's there to carry on the heritage of sheep farming on this farm. And our grandchildren, of which we have 10 now, and they have bought into it, and if there's anything to be done, they are more than willing up all hours of the morning ready to do it. The breed of flock is the Wicklow Shepherd crossed with a Suffolk, and if you notice, the face gives away the breed, because they usually come spotley faced and that with the cross. We're almost to finishing on the lambing this year. They've lambed off quite quick, about 2 weeks, and we've only got 2 left. Okay, well, I suppose the period we're after been through the last couple of weeks is the culmination of the breeding period for sheep, and that would have started last October when the rams were introduced to the ewes, and they start in October. When you let the ram out in October, you expect lambs mid-March, so that's what we've been over the last 2 weeks. For ease of management, they're always housed. Some people might lamb them out, but we actually, for ease of management and to prevent losses, we put them indoors a few weeks before they start to lamb and let them out a few days afterwards. We have a small flock. For that reason, it's a very personal flock. You kind of know your individual sheep, and you know the ones that had 2 last year maybe, or lost 1 last year or whatever. But anyhow, for that reason, you're kind of close to them. We're excited very much this year. It's a kind of a special year for us because Evan has asked us to be part of the 0KM in Brook Lodge, and for that reason we're going to identify a few special ones later on. Once the breeding season and they go out to grass, we'll actually identify a few that'll be suitable.
It's a small flock,
Small
many,
flock,
about
40 ewes.
Yeah, and when we were up last week and previous, you were able to tell us who were the good mothers and the new mothers, and you
Yes.
You know the flock.
Oh, we know the flock. We do
Yes.
indeed. We know the flock, and we keep a record of them. Years ago, there was no identification in sheep other than to put your name with your letter S, blue. That was the only identification. There's a lot of paperwork now with sheep, and they're all registered with the Department of Agriculture, and they have the yellow tags to tell you so. But it's a help to you too. You're able to remember the ones that done well for you last year, and that one that finished lambs first, and so on.
But you prefer to introduce a ram rather than a vet with AI.
Yes.
And that really suits us. Why do you still carry on? This is very traditional, isn't it?
It's traditional, and we do stick to the traditional methods. Natural service. Some years ago, there used to be different ways of compacting the lambing period, and they've done things called sponging and so on to get it all ewes coming within a few days. We never went that road. We just nurture, and I think actually when you give the ewes a flush before they actually go to the ram, give them 2 or 3 weeks of the best grass you have, it tightens the lambing period up. So that's the model we have for it. Yeah.
And this is the knowledge that we want from you for this project.
This is what I'm trying to. I'm only the caretaker at the moment, so I'm really only passing
we're only the students.
Well, I'm only the caretaker. I'm passing on to the next generation, and
Yeah.
I done that because my father did the same thing. He showed us and told us all the pitfalls as well.
And of course, with a flock so small, there's no profit in it. No farmer in Ireland makes a profit.
No, of course, they never admit to it anyway. Yeah. But as well as that, like it wouldn't be by any stretch of the imagination, it's not a Bible, it's a hobby.
It's a pet.
Yeah.
A pet flock.
A pet flock, that's what it is. Now, we're really excited at the moment because Evan next door has a project or a thing that he's been talking about for some time, but he's doing it this year, and it's called 0KM, whereby everything on the table for one meal for 150 people at the end of this year will be grown or produced within 1 kilometre of the table. And we are really excited that we're going to be part of that, and I was just glad that we had sheep when he asked me to do it. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll be identifying 4 or 5 of the ideal sheep for that night, and we'll be giving them that little bit extra 10. So we look forward to that.